Hello, everyone out there in internet land, and welcome to Tavern Talk. My name is Jalen J. Perez. I'll be playing Orion Thane, but I'm also here with my co host, Brent, Abby, and Chris. Go ahead and introduce yourself, guys.
My name is Brett Andrew Scavenge. I am playing Zavi Advani, and well, he's going through some shit, quite literally. Yeah.
I'm Abby Malarkey, and I'm playing Kaya Vispagen, and I'm pretty sure I only have like one hit point left right now, so that's fun time.
More than me.
And I am Chris. I am your GM, Game Master, or GM, for this adventure series we have going on right now. And I guess it's my fault you guys are in those positions. But, it's not my fault, actually. It's the orc's fault, not mine.
We could have ran.
You could have. You could have. Going back to that, you guys had, decided to all hunker together, which, not together, separately, it's the exact opposite. You just had to split up. You could have decided to, maybe hunker down together, in the middle of the whole thing. And maybe, not maybe, almost assuredly, you'd have been able to hear stuff going on other places, in case one of the other two monuments were attacked. What you guys did was a choice.
And here you are, viewers. This is why they always say do not split the party, because then you end up with a semi-unconscious monkey and a 1 HP gnome that instead of being colorful, her entire body's covered in red.
No, you always split the party. You always gotta do the Scooby-Doo stuff.
I was gonna say, we're still missing two people in order to make that joke. And I don't know what you want to be clarified as.
Yeah, who's Scooby in this scenario? Your little has a tail.
We're not doing the thing Velma. We're not doing Velma. I'm telling you that now.
There actually, for a long time, there was an ancestry in this game. It was Canaan. Obviously, there's the Kolos, or what they used to be is what can't I think of the name?
Kind of like a knoll?
Knoll.
Yeah.
I used to use the name Knoll, and then that has changed to Kolo in response to Wizards of the Coast being buttheads. But I'm allowed to say that. So they're hyena folk. There used to be another one called the Shooting people, which were pug people.
So they had a hard time breathing.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to remind myself when I edit this video, I'm going to put a picture of a shooting up on screen. I'm going to do that. Chris, remember that.
You won't remember that.
I just told myself to remember to do it, so yeah, I will remember.
But I was gonna say, luckily, their half-orc friend coming up there came in, swooped in, knocked a guy unconscious. Unfortunately, our gnome friend kind of killed a person that night, so we're gonna reflect a little bit on that, especially with how Zavi got knocked out and how everyone's feeling after that.
I don't think you can say kind of killed someone.
Oh, she definitely
kind of did.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, brutally shot magical darts at an orc.
Yeah.
Him or me? I'm gonna always pick me.
Says the girl who was pretending to be homeless in the alleyway until it just shoots magic at him.
Well,
you could have left her go.
I will say.
After that, I would Chris. Was there a place where we could have all watched two of them at the same time? And he's like, yeah, they were in a diagonal and it's a grid. We didn't ask them. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always ask questions.
Yeah, I don't have a visual aid, or else I'd show you guys how you could have potentially just watched two at the same time.
Oh, we know. We watch
Yeah,
we
I-
watch the videos.
I'm
Come
not
on.
worried about
I saw how we all get pretty much pwned there. I still remember with the water battle. Getting shot in the face with a hydro pump.
One thing that I'll say though that I think definitely deserves to be brought up here is this whole moment. It showcases something that's really big in these games, and that is, at least for me running, you guys are free to make your own choices. I'm not gonna try to push you into something. I could have dropped hints, or even just flat out told you guys, hey, maybe you should all stick together. Hey, maybe you should go to one of these places so you can watch two at the same time. No, I'm not gonna do that. I want you guys to make your own choices. And this also proves out to players that you guys handled everything great. We all had conversations about it after the games and stuff, and none of you were mad about the outcome. You guys are accepting that, I'm not out to get you, and the consequences of your actions are real. And I think that's really important. That's something that players need to really keep in mind. Your GM, DM, your keeper, whatever the term is you guys use for a game, they're not out to get you. They're not out to win against you. They're there to facilitate a story with you. And I try to make sure I give that to you guys.
Most of the time, that's how it is. There are some bad ones out there.
But keep in mind, viewers, you're here to play the game and enjoy it with a good time with your friends. And with occasional hijinks in there.
And
Yeah,
Chris,
hijinks are a thing.
Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this situation also showed one big difference between D&D and Pathfinder. Where in D&D, a lot of times you can either overpower yourself or get to a point where you don't have to worry about teamwork and actually setting up a situation. Whereas in this, a little bit more prep or a little bit more communication between it probably would have saved us from me from going down and Kaya from almost being killed.
Yeah. Yeah, in D&D, nothing against D&D. I'll point that out. I know I crapped on wizards earlier, and that was because of the situation in which they were being buttheads. I'm not going to call them buttheads overall. The situation they did was buttheadery. But nothing against D&D, but you're correct. There was a lot of situations where D&D players can kind of just, especially in 5th edition, can kind of do their own thing without needing the party. And that's because creatures in that game aren't nearly as tough as these in this game. And in Pathfinder, you as a player can get much stronger than your D&D counterpart, but the creatures are also much stronger. So it's a nice balancing act. Yes, you can do a lot of things, so can the enemies. And that's what you guys got. That battle seemed rough until your big hitter came. And that's perfect. You're supposed to be the tank, the frontliner, Orion. That's the job. For Zavi, there's going to come time whenever his stealthing is absolutely necessary. Kaya, you are the charismatic one, and so, you're the talker. At least you should be the talker. You're also, at the moment, the mage. I say at the moment because of a surprise coming soon. But
Hey, you guys didn't tell me any surprise. I'm not prepared.
yeah, it's
You're unconscious in the game.
How did I go playing? Fair.
but yeah, like you guys, in this game, it's much more apparent that there's a roles system, ROLES. And you guys showcase it pretty perfectly, I think, at least. But beyond that, let's get into a little bit of a question, couple questions that I have for you guys. So you guys have done everything in Scioto that you had set out to do. You guys came to town to find out there was 2 big problems, and you've effectively figured them out. You're going to have a little bit of stuff next session to deal with at the end of the monuments issue. But overall, you guys have accomplished your things, and very quickly, a quick amount of time. You guys had 8 days between your arrival and when the boat hook hand was leaving. I think at this point leaves you 3 days left. And so how does it feel to have that accomplishment as a group?
I mean, it feels good to be able to have everything done, and everything that we set out to do, we were able to accomplish in one way or another, some a little unorthodox ways, but we're able to accomplish everything. So there was one part that we could have looked into, but it didn't make sense, and I felt like it would throw off our story that we've built up in the beginning, which is why I also went the way I did, where I want to get on the boat and go. I did not think that we were gonna get through everything. I thought it was gonna be like finish it up as we are chasing down the boat to jump onto it, kind of feel. So
Honestly, I thought it was going to be, we'll look into the monuments thing and we'll get some information and then give it over to the city and be like, here, you finish it up. Here's what we found. And then it was like, oh, okay, well, let's just take care of this. And it was a little touch and go during the fight until Orion came.
Yeah.
But now I think Kaya is kind of riding down a high. Like, I didn't die. It sucks that Zavi is down, and I'm gonna take care of that immediately. But like, we did things, and we helped out the city, and it's cool.
Absolutely.
Now, I know, coming for Orion, considering personally on my thoughts, I thought we were going to get swept up into another thing going on in the desert, because first off, I didn't even think we were going to get fully defeat that boss head on. I thought there was going to be, as some people already experienced boss battles, there's going to be a transformation stage where, this is not my final form, this is my final form, kind of that shenanigan bullcrap that everyone deals with in an RPG. I was expecting that, but it didn't turn out to that. We just had to solve a puzzle. Personally, I thought it was somewhere once we found out it was a water spirit, and particularly this water spirit was kicked out and had a thing against the queen. I thought we were supposed to go to the Oasis City, and that's where we would get involved in that. Thus, things get a lot more complicated. We're now involved in something, and we're now in more and more into city politics. But to my surprise, we were smart enough to figure it out. We were smart enough to save the mages. We were smart enough to save the soldiers. And on our way back, we earned respect. We found out where these people were destroying the statues. And we took the initiative to actually deal with it and make a plan. Although not the best plan, we still kind of followed through, and we dealt with what happened as players for the consequences. The biggest thing I know that some people in the comment section or the viewers are going to be asking is, Orion, why didn't he take his father's advice and try to seek out what his father told him to check out the Oasis City for the lady? And in Orion's mind, that is in the back of his head. But at the moment, he also has to think about what's happening with his friends. Along with, we're right now on the run. We don't have the best options right now. We have to clear our names. And if we don't, we're going to keep on getting hunted down. So it's better to take care of this now than later.
Yeah. I agree with that. And, the whole thing with that woman named Bruna in Ladies Oasis, you can always go back. Yeah, you guys want to take care of the stuff happening and, chase down leads and hook handle and try to clear your name. But say you get your name cleared. or not. You know, whatever the chances are, you can always go back. That's a lead. It's not going to go away. I was very curious whenever that came up too. I was like, are they going to handle this stuff in Scioto, or are they going to go to Lady's Oasis? I was kind of curious how that was going to play out. Ultimately, I think it's great that you guys handle the stuff in Scioto, because that's notoriety. And that's going to be on a fame and infamy scale. That's going to be good for you guys, because you're going to gain some some accolade for it. But yeah, I was curious how it was going to work out. But Orion can always go back.
Orion's probably going to go back, but the present matter at hand is he has to deal with the fact that these two, in particular, orcs are from Morganda. And this is a very big, significant word if you viewers have been paying attention for what's been happening throughout this campaign. And I have a feeling we're about to dive deep into our next session about that.
Good. Very well, good. So two more things on my end that I'm curious about. Kaya. You killed a guy.
Oh boy.
How does Kaya feel about taking a life?
I don't feel like she minds. Because I've written that Kaya's well-traveled in her lifetime so far, so I imagine she's gotten into the few scuffles before. So I really don't think she really cares. I think she sees it as it was literally going to be they were going to kill you, or you were going to kill them. And luckily, only one of them died. We still kept the one alive, so I think that's a win.
It's true. It's true. Speaking of Orion, you've lived in the circus all your life. Now, I'm sure there are probably times that there have been rowdy guests or individuals that are stir up the pot whenever you guys go into towns. But getting into a hardcore scuffle with someone, let alone someone who's an orc, and you being half orc, is Orion kind of weirded out by that? And is he also weirded out that he took him down without, obviously didn't kill him, but knocked him out? How does he feel about that scenario?
Right now, Orion is going through the emotions as that he's a little bit at war with himself, considering right now he had to fight a fellow orc that is from Ruganda, which he was told by his father means something more than what people say. So at this point, it's where he's a little bit conflicted, and at that point, he's gonna have to deal with his emotions as when he talks to this person. It's the reason why he knocked out this orc and not killed them. Because in the end, yes, the orc was bad mouthing him, saying that why are you doing this? You're a traitor. You are a half orc. At the end, it was where Orion was focused on the situation at hand, which is where his friends are being attacked. He sees Avi bleeding on the ground. He sees Kaya nearly beaten to a pulp, and he now knows that he has to defend his friends and make sure this guy goes down. To which he took this guy down where he was insulting him, but he didn't even get scratched once. We have to keep that in mind. He never got that hit on him, even though that orc attacked 3 times with no hits on him, to where at that point he is taking the information as it is. He's taking care of the enemy right now, but he's still in his mind thinking that this guy is still a person and he's only doing what he thinks is right. So this is why he kind of went with the non-fatal blow. He wanted to knock him out. He wanted to talk to him. If I was there at the moment that the attack happened, I will say I would have just knocked out the other guy. But that's the thing. What happens with any RPG game? There's some things you can't control, especially tabletop RPGs where other players do things. Sometimes you just gotta accept the consequences as they are and just try to work with the story and figure out what is my character going to do, what are his aims, and what kind of person he is, and am I playing this person right? And I felt I played Orion right in that scenario.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think that was right. Quite frankly, if I'm remembering correctly, I have my notebook. I was reading through it. I'm pretty sure he asked you straight up, "Have you heard of the Burgunda militia, or are you with them?" I do believe he asked that to at least one of you. If not, then forget I said anything. But nonetheless, you were right in thinking that that's something notable and something curious to think about. Zabi. Poor Zabi. Obviously, you're not dead. And like the fight's over now, so you're able to be revived. We're out of encounter mode and now just into exploration, so you're able to be healed and stuff. Although you guys do have guards that descended upon you guys. But
I just played dead.
No. Their version of a medic is basically a duct tape wizard. Oh, I'm injured. Duct tape.
So you did a really good job getting, sneaking up on those guys. I mean, they didn't notice you at all. From where you were hiding at first, all the way to following them towards Kaya, they never caught on that you were there. That's great. You just had some really unfortunate rolls. I mean, it comes down to that. There's a slurry of times where you kind of missed, and it's not really your fault. It's more along the lines of the dice and the creature's, health. But beyond that, obviously he's unconscious. But when he gets to be conscious again, he's gonna have to. What's he gonna be feeling?
Well, his confidence is definitely taking a serious shot. He needs to regroup and rethink things because he's always been a carefree. He's gonna do what he wants to do, kind of. I guess monkey. I didn't know what word. I was gonna say person, but that doesn't work.
It's a person.
So he's got
Monkey
to
person.
re-find himself, because if he's going to try to free his name with everything that's been happening, he's gonna have to take things more seriously. He's going to have to know to get out of situations sooner than later, and maybe take a little bit more of a distant role. So, first step is healing, and then coming up with a plan for the people that did what they've done to him. I mean, he doesn't want this to ever happen to him again.
Yeah, I feel that.
Kind of like you feel weak because you couldn't handle things yourself. And you've got to find out where your strength lies. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I will be completely frank with you guys. I knew eventually someone's gonna go down. It's gonna happen. It's dangerous. The world is dangerous. I didn't think it was gonna be that quick. I will say that. I did not think it was gonna be the second fight of the campaign.
I only got 16 HP.
I was
Right.
expecting that like right off the first battle when that lady hit me with the freaking water blast, and she was like the three other guards joined, and I was just like, okay, here they come, here they come. Which one can I take down before I go down?
Yeah. Overall, though, this was good, and I think this is a lot more of an interesting fight. Not that the first one wasn't interesting, obviously, but this one was interesting because I think the stakes were a little bit higher. The first one, it had some danger to it, but not like this one. And so I'm really curious to see how these are going to go forward with the three of you, because this is your first time, like, a mortal person, not like a spirited creature or fae or whatever. This is an actual person, that you share citizenship with. It's much more interesting. And I'm curious how you guys handle the one who's still alive, because the guy is conscious. He's unconscious, but he's alive. You guys can
Knock him around.
interact with him. You can knock him around. So I guess we'll see how this stuff's going to go with the next session. Any final thoughts about that before we move on to something else?
No?
Okay.
We still haven't thought of a group name. That I'm telling you this right now, viewers. We've been pondering this right now. We're still trying. You'd be surprised in any RPG if you're an adventuring team, how many times you get asked what's the name of your group, and you're just like staring blankly. Oh crap! So we are taking names if you want to throw something out there.
Yeah.
Zombie in the
and
game.
If you guys get a group name, the playlist this is part of, the series this is gonna, or the campaigns we're in, will change. Instead of being Tales of Inglyria Campaign 1, it'll be Tales of Inglyria, the Circus Freaks, and, whatever it is. Whatever you guys aren't freaks. And freaks is a bad term, you shouldn't say that in all seriousness.
Or
it's
the
circus
Mad
folk.
Show.
All I could think about was right there was Robin Hood and his merry men.
In tights.
Thanks.
Book was dusty. Beyond that, we will see how that goes with the campaign next. In terms of the game, though, mechanics-wise, anything anyone thought, within the last couple of sessions was something really neat, something notable that you've never really experienced before in other games, or something you thought that just needed brought up? I have a couple.
Right off the bat, loving the fact that off of level 1, you get to hit the enemy 3 times. That's pretty freaking fun.
Yeah, I like that. You don't have to worry about any extra attack feature throughout the game. It's always just your 3. You might get more with other certain abilities or feats you get leveling up. Yeah, it's great. If you want to just stand toe to toe, you have the multiple attack penalty, but over time you can make that lesser. I think that's a big feature with fighters, is making that lower over time. But I agree, I like that. I love the 3-action economy. I think it's stunning. That's actually one thing I was going to bring up. The thing that I like, and it's going to come into its own here in this next session, next session or two, healing in this game is much different than other games. It's much slower. So with you guys, obviously, if you do some first aid with your healer's kit, or if you take some potions, or if there's a spell that does healing, you get it immediately. Otherwise, you have to rest and take some time to yourself. And there are other games where resting is like an immediate boom, back up to current, to top. No, it's not here. This is, I'm not gonna say more realistic, but it's less superhuman. For you guys, it's I think it's your Constitution modifier times your level is what you gain in hit points overnight, unless you take a long-term rest. If you take a long-term rest, it's your con mod times twice your level. So even like, oh, I'm taking a month off. If you're a really, really high-level character, you can like might even be up to full, depending. It depends how much you got going on.
All I could think of there was, after everything that happened to my character, you just walk into like an infirmary area, and he's just bandages head to toe, like a cartoon where his arms are like this, his legs up in the air.
And for the icing on top, in case he has like broken arms and a broken leg, I just put the freaking banana or peach or pear right on his leg, and he's just like, I can't get it.
That's me.
My tail's the only thing that's not broken. Ha, gotcha.
That is pretty perfect. I will say that. That's pretty perfect.
Also, since I know I have a lot of healing to do, at least I have some rest and recovery I can get taken care of, and I can see if there's somebody that's willing to help me in the city.
Absolutely. You could. There's someone you could find that loves to take some time.
Yeah.
You're very forgetful. Wait, no, that's the wrong one. Am I forgetful? I can't remember.
Let's see, in other news, some new stuff coming out for Pathfinder. We have the War of Immortals book coming out. That'll be late October, did you believe? And that book is going to add 2 new classes to the game. The Divine Martial character or class called Exemplar, and then the spiritual nature-bound, not only nature, but I guess nature spirit-bound animist. They'll be usable in that book, and in this campaign, should something happen to one of your characters, that happens. But beyond that, there'll also be a bunch of new interesting play with mythic play, adding like godly powers to the game, which is going to be interesting. I'm going to have to do a hardcore read of that book when it comes out. Another book coming out with more classes is a remaster of an old book. Not old, it's still 2nd edition, but they're remastering Guns and Gears. Guns and Gears adds 2 classes to the game. It adds the Gunslinger and the Inventor. It builds little mechanisms to help fight. And then I do believe Android is included as a ancestry with Guns and Gears. I could be wrong. Or is it the Automaton? I think it's Automaton, actually. That sounds
I think it is
correct.
Automaton. That sounds
Yes. That sounds more correct than Android. Now, I will say point blank, all 3 of those things do not fit the lore of the world we're playing yet. You're too far in the past. Well, I guess I don't want to call it that. You're not far enough in the future, let's put it that way, to have that kind of stuff going on. There is an event going on in our games called the Great Stagnation, in which people cannot invent past what is currently here. They can make improvements on things that exist, technology or things of that sort, but there's nothing coming as a next-gen thing. They're not going to have like guns or crazy inventions or things of that sort. But there could be events in future campaigns that change that. We'll have to wait and see. Finally, a book coming that I am happy about. I don't know if you 3 are going to care about it as much as I would, but the NPC core.
Yeah.
So, we have the core books, the player core, which you guys should all have a copy of. I have mine right here in front of me. There is the GM core, the monster core, and then they have player core 2 out now, which I don't have a physical copy of. I do have a PDF though. But the NPC core is just going to be filled with stat blocks for people, NPCs to use, commoners, nobles, maybe criminal types, mages, things of that sort that aren't covered in the monster core. This has tons of monster stat blocks, like creatures and things of that sort. And there are a few random humanoids in here, but not to the extent that the NPC core does. The prior remaster Game Mastery Guide did have NPC stat blocks in it, but they didn't put it in the GM core because they wanted to make room for other things to make sure the book isn't huge. But they will have the NPC core coming out. That's going to be, I think both Guns and Gears and NPC core are really early 2025. I think Guns and Gears January and NPC core is February, I do believe. But I'm excited to see what changes those bring out. We will see as time goes along. And Paizo, please have sketch editions of those books. I'm sure you noticed as I held up my books, but all 3 of my core books are sketch edition, and for Player Core 2, I will have sketch edition for that as well. So please have a sketch edition for NPC core or literally any other book, because this looks clean, this looks nice. I like the standard edition, I like the special edition, they're great, but this just looks nice, this looks crisp. No, I love this, great job. Beyond that, that's all the Pathfinder stuff I have to talk about right now.
Audience,
honestly,
just a warning. Audience, just warning, our GM loves the details. Just don't know if you picked that up. I don't know if you picked that up. He was subtle about it.
Small little details are the best for me. That's why I have Excel sheets for everything that list all the details. So I love that stuff. So give me that crap. I love it.
If you were questioning how he knows how certain things interact within the world, I mean, he has things about the tides. He has probably, I'm guessing, moon phases.
Yeah. A complete moon phase chart. I have a star chart. I actually have all the closest solar systems and galaxies charted. Just because I'm curious how the night sky would look. I've got a full climate system. You know, I've got the jet stream all mapped out for the entire world. And,
he put a lot of thought into making this world. Hopefully, you guys take some steps in learning about it.
Yeah, I've got a full document that's got everything. I've got all the NPCs. When I last looked, I have 11,000, specific NPCs, unique NPCs. I mean, obviously there's going to be some that aren't. Like, you can always add in, hey, sailor number 1. You know, that's the thing you can do. But when you walk into a shop in my world, or when I'm playing you, I want you guys to have an interaction with that person. And even if it's the only time you ever go in there, they're notable. A few sessions ago, you guys went into a store of a woman who had no idea what anything was. She didn't know what a printer was. She didn't know what a sword was. But she's unique and she's interesting, and you guys might not ever talk to her again. But that one interaction was funny because she was weird and, quirky. And so I always want to make sure stuff's like that. GMs out there, you don't have to do that kind of stuff. You don't. You don't have to prepare the way that I do. This is just how I like doing it. You don't have to do the same thing. But as I've said before in other videos, they were talking about the world we play, Glyria. There will be a video series coming out that talks about it at length. I'll break it up into small videos. One talking about maybe just geography, the Pantheon, economy of specific sections, things of that sort. I'll try to show as many links to Pathfinder lore with their world to make sure it makes sense. That will come out so you guys can have a better understanding of what we're all talking about as we play our game. With all that said, I don't think I have anything else to talk about. You guys?
I'm good.
I'm all clear.
I have a cat friend. Tavern cat.
Tavern cat. We need to get a name tag for that now, like a collar that will technically can. with that though, Jake, you can go ahead and sign us off.
Gotcha. All right. Like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care.